Ladies and gentlemen, here is our next video called the Fireplace. This is I guess we're getting a little bit more advanced into the 2D CAD assignments, and as you can see on the screen here, we do have our fireplace, which is just a bunch of lines that add up to look like a fireplace. So, looking at this drawing, I think I'm going to copy over my title block real quick just so I have another copy of that. Looking at this drawing, we have to figure out our box size like usual. At its widest point, which is here and here, across to here and here, we have 7. And from the very top down to the very bottom, we have 6. So our box size is 7 by 6. So as always, take half of those numbers, which would be 3 and 3.5. So I'm going to go ahead and put my diagonal line back in. Remember, this is something basic. You don't want to go to here. You want to be here because we want to be in the center of the black space. We don't want to include the text of the title block in that calculation. Okay. You can then go to construction line, and we're going to put that at the midpoint here, straight up and down and across. Delete. Okay. In the last video, I think I forgot to talk about the DDIM settings, but if you didn't really understand that, you should go back to the video before that or even the one before that. We shouldn't have to talk about them every time. They're the same 6 settings for now. As far as when they change, that'll start changing within the next couple drawings. We'll have to make numbers a little bit smaller. We'll have to put them in the right position. We'll have to flip some arrows, and I think we'll have to flip some arrows in this one actually too, and we're going to have to downsize some of the text so that it fits the right way. Alright, so here we go. Left to right, 7. So half of that is 3.5. You can type it 3.5, or you can do 3 and 1 over 2. Whenever I say and, that is the minus sign. That's going to be right and left. Up and down is 6, so it's going to be 3. 3 up, 3 down. Get rid of the middle lines. Do a fillet radius 0. You can do multiple if you know you're going to do more than one. And this is how I get my box that I start with. You'll notice that the box is partially a reference line right now. These are not going to be there in the future. We don't need this here, but we do need to build this base part first and then probably build up from there. So you'll notice that the base part is 1/2 inch tall, which means that each line of brick is going to be 1/4. So each single brick is 1/4 by 5/8. So what I would do is I would take the offset tool. I'd go 1 over 4, and I would go up twice. I would then start building my bricks. You can see we start with one full one on the bottom line. We start with a half one, which is 5/16 on the second line up. So what I would do is I'd start down here, and I would do one of these first. 5/8 of an inch. Measure this across. And I say 1 because this is a old school trim, by the way. Click this line where you want to cut it off. Enter, and then cut the top stuff off. I say do 1 first because we want to get that trim out of the way. And now we can do our offsets. You could do a copy array here if you want to count how many bricks there are, or this isn't too bad. We could just offset these across. Oop, that one went the wrong way. Anytime you do an offset and you don't see where it went, sometimes it'll flip back the other way, and that'll give you a double line back here. So just be careful when you're doing that. You'll see what I'm talking about, because when you make 2 clicks, it will go somewhere. Okay, so we have this. Now, next thing I would do is I would select all of those lines. I would copy them, and let's just pretend like we're going to grab at a base point here, and we're going to put them straight up. So now they're right above it. But we need them to be offset, and that offset is by 5/16. So if we select them all again and do the move tool, we can grab at any baseline, or you can just click out here. It doesn't matter. And now stay on the green line, and we're going to shift them on that green line 5/16 to the left. So now you'll notice that we start with a half brick and we end with like a 3/4 brick. So that base part is done. Next thing you're going to notice is, let's see, what do we want to do next? You will see that 7/8 in is where this line is. And that's going to go up to this point, and it's going to come across and go down. So this point up here is, let's see, 3 and this is in the wrong position. This should be 3/8 out. 3 and 3/8 get you to the one below it, but if it's 1/8 higher than that, then it's going to be 3.5. So you're going to start having to do some basic calculations here. I'm not always going to give you every specific measurement. I think that would make it too easy. So we're starting to get a little bit more complicated here. All right, so 7/8 in, it's going to go up 3.5, and then it's going to come across, and this will be 7/8 as well, because this is a symmetrical drawing. Left and right are the exact same. So 7/8 in, this will also go up 3.5, and then where they meet is where you would cut this line off at. So let's do that over here. I wouldn't advise starting a line here and drawing it 7/8. That's a bad habit to get into, because when you draw that line and then go up 3.5, a lot of people will forget that that line is there, and you want to keep your drawing as tidy as possible. That way you don't get leftover lines. So I went 3.5 up. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I think it's easier to just jump over this side. Here's a trick. Rather than drawing that line there, put your cursor and start sliding to the right. It'll start counting up. If you don't have that counting up, I think that's F11 that you have to make sure is on. And then you're going to type 7/8, and that's going to get you to the 7/8 position. So you didn't draw a line, you just kind of, it's like a tape measure, you hooked it onto the end and you said, hey, 7/8 of an inch, and now we can go up 3.5. Then we can just connect. Alright, so just so you know, we have that. We have, hard to get because there's so many dimensions in the way. We have that, and we have that. You'll notice that this space, all of these spaces are 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to come in 1/8, we're going to come in 1/8, we're then going to come in 3/8 and 3/8 and 3/8. Then we're going to go 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, and then in the bricks, which is 5/8, 5/8, 5/8. So there's a bunch of offsets that we have to do inside of this area to build that inside part. So let's start with 1/8. 1/8 in, 1/8 in, 1/8 in. Before we go any further, let's figure out what this chamfer is. A chamfer is just an angled line. So you can see that I have, let's see, is it on the other side? I don't think I have it on there, but if you took a measurement here and you go from here to here, you can see that that's 1/8 and that is 1/8. So when you go to do your chamfer, I hope I didn't say chamfer edge, that's for 3D stuff, I meant chamfer. Chamfer, you hit distance at the bottom. It's very similar to fillet, except that you're not telling it the radius. You're going to tell it what the distance is from the corner back where the angle starts and from the corner over where the angle ends. So in this case where it says distance 1 or first distance, you're going to type 1/8 of an inch. Then it's going to say what is the second distance, same thing, 1/8 of an inch. We're going to go from there to there. Double check real quick that we're still recording. Fantastic. Okay, now if you hit spacebar, it brings you right back in, so we can just go boom, boom, and that's done. Alright, from that point, 3/8 of an inch. So let's do this. Why don't we offset 3/8 of an inch. This is going to go down, in, and then we might as well jump right into the 1/8 of an inch. 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, and then 5/8 for the bricks. 5/8, 5/8, 5/8. Now there's a lot of lines. If you don't want to do it this way, then you can do one at a time and clean it up. That way it doesn't look all sloppy. But fillet radius 0. Let's do multiple and start from the inside. Let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go here and here. Let's go here and here. So now we have all of that inside stuff. The only thing we're missing is another chamfer, which is on the outside here. So we got one there and one there. So we already have this one. We want to chamfer this one. So chamfer, distance, 1/8 of an inch for the first, 1/8 of an inch for the second. 1, 2, spacebar, 1, 2. So now we got that figured out. The bricks, offset, 1/4. They are 5/8 by 1/4. So if I go 1 like this, I don't want to keep doing that. It's going to be a ton of trimming. Let's get the first trim done. Let's do an old school trim. Let's click these two and these two. We'll do it all in one shot. And if you click something outside of that area, it'll trim the rest of that area off. So now we have just those two lines. If you want, instead of doing that, you could have just drawn from this intersection to this intersection and from there to there, and then go over here and just erase the full line. That's up to you. I'm going to go forward because I like what I already did. Offset, 1/4 of an inch. This is going to go fourth, 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 all the way up until it hits this point. I'm not going to do this again because that's going to give me two lines here. I'm actually just going to take this one and extend it across. You can extend things by clicking these little blue nodes and stretching until it snaps to something, or you can do extend with an extra enter is going to make it a quick extend, and that means that if I click this right side, it's going to go until it hits the next line or object. Okay, you could take these and just You'd actually, we could just mirror them too. We could have done the whole drawing mirrored if you want to do the left and then just mirror it over. But we'll just do a quick mirror there. And then do you want to erase the source? No. Notice that I didn't do this line because I already had that line over there. Erase the source? No. Now we got those. Now again, let's do one brick, 1/4 of an inch. We're going to go off of this line. 1/4. Let's do an old school trim. The reason is if I do a quick trim here, I got the rest of this line. I don't want to keep trimming, and I also don't want to have to hit escape and click it and hit delete. So if I do a old school trim instead, which is just trim, enter, click it where you want to click it off or where you want to cut it off, enter, and then boom, we cut the rest off. This is going to do the same thing. It's going to go all the way across. We can, like I said earlier, do a copy array. I don't know how many there are, but you could guess. What do I want to copy? Enter. What's the base point? It's probably going to be right here. And then array, let's just say there's 20 of them. I have no idea. And then you're going to go in the right direction, and you're going to tell it, stay on the green line. You're going to tell it how far apart on each for each brick, which is going to be 1/4. And then you can see that I was a little extra, so I'm just going to erase these other ones. There's one in here somewhere. Make sure you get that one too. Probably one in there, which we don't need because we have a solid line in there. So not always the best way. Sometimes offsetting is easier, but I'm just showing you guys the different options. So the inside part here is done. Okay, now we're going to start working on the outside part. We already have this line right here. We're going to go 1/8, 1/8, 4th, 4th. Okay, I think I have a 4th measurement right there. So 1/8, 1/8, 4th, 4th. So offset 1/8, 1/8 up, 1/8 up, and then, whoops, 1/4 twice. For now, let's just extend these out. So I'm doing a quick extend, and I'm going to grab all of these and extend them all the way that way and all the way that way. That allows me now to trim this area and this area. I could probably trim this and this because see how that's square up there? And then we got a bunch of chamfers that we got to do. Actually, we're not going to use the chamfer tool though. We're going to use just angles, okay? But we still have the top. So why don't we get the top out of the way first? That's a little bit easier. If we go from the midpoint to midpoint, we now have a reference line or dummy line going down the middle. We also have this full reference line up top where we only need a little part of that. So what I would do is I would say, okay, this is 4 inches right here. That means 2 and 2 is going to get to the side of that actual chimney. And we're going to do offsets of 2 and 2. We no longer need this. We can trim this and this. That was a quick trim. And then we can start building our lines of bricks. 1/4 of an inch offset. That's how big the bricks are, or how tall they are, I guess. We get like that. We trim that and that. Now, one of the things that I did in my older video for this is I took this line of bricks and I copied it and I put it up here. That way I didn't have to do each individual brick again. You can do that, or you can create 2 lines and then copy that up. It's totally up to you. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. Let's do that real quick. If you select, so here, you wouldn't want, nah, I don't want to do it that way. Yeah, we're already too far along. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a 5/8 offset, and I'm going to go all the way across 5/8. And every other line, so you'll see that this first, the second one and 4th one start with a full brick. Does that really matter? Probably not, but I'd like it to be the same. If you're out there in the world and you're somebody else, do it the way you want. So the 2nd and 4th one, which means that I want to trim 1st, 3rd, and 5th. But you can do those all the way across like this. So those 2 rows are now good. Now, like we did earlier, we can take these and we can copy them. The only problem, we couldn't, so someone's probably wondering why did we trim all that out if we were going to copy this and just put it back in anyways. It's because we need these to be 2 different lines. So there's another way to do that. You could use the break tool, but I don't really find that tool very useful. So that's why I didn't do it. All right, so copy, that's circle. Copy, we're going to go there and there. Now, if we take these and those and use the move tool, again, I can click anywhere I want. It doesn't really matter. And then we're going to go stay on the green line, 5/16 across. Top bricks are done. So we're almost done with this drawing. Sweating. No, it's not that bad. All right. So next thing here, we're going to do a 45-degree angle. then it's going to go 1/8, and then it's going to be a 40. Oh, you probably can't see that because it's behind me. So 45 off this corner. You're going to start like here, 45/8, 45/4, and then it's going to go 45 again. So if we go from here, by the way, this is a 45 measured this way, but when we're coming backwards like that, that's not going to be 45. 45 is up and to the right, 90 is up, 180 is this way. So what's 180 plus 45 would be 225. So I don't know how far this is going to go, so I can't do at something angle, what did we say it was, 225. But what I can do is I can just get the at out of there and do angle 225. That's going to streak that line at 225. I'll just click it wherever, it doesn't really matter, and then you're going to trim off the extra stuff like that. So now this and that can go away, this can go away. Alright, so the next thing is we're going to start another one, just like we hooked earlier with the tape measure. Go right here, slide across, that's going to be 1/8 of an inch. Now if you're just not sliding the right way, then feel free to draw like two lines, to draw, let's say, one line right off that corner and then do an offset. It is F11, but I've seen some software versions not work the right way. Some funny setting is turned on or off and then it doesn't go. But you can do 1/8 like this, and those will be two reference lines that you could get this next corner. So angle 45, we'll streak it. Oh, not sorry. We want to do angle 225 off of this one. So angle 225. That's going to go down. You don't really get an intersection here because it's thinking that you want the end point. So just go a little bit too far, and then we don't need these anymore because that was just to get that start position, and then we're there. So now it's going to go 1/4, and then it's going to go back in. Rather than measuring the 1/4, we could just take our line here and go angle 45 because we're going backwards the other way now, and just click that one out a little bit too far. That way you're not getting any snaps, and then we have that. That is correct. Okay, now why do that again? I wouldn't want to. Take these three, MI, enter, that's mirror, and then go off the midpoint of this whole drawing. You know, you can click, that second click could be anywhere. Just make sure it's up and down, click, and then do you want to erase the source? No. And now we're looking over here at just trimming. Quick trims, all quick trims in here. Quick trim, and boom, done. Okay, what do we got left? Line weights. I guess we'll go over the DDIM settings again. It can't hurt. DDIM before you do any dimensions. Modify. There are 6 things all together. Symbols and arrows. 1/8. Center marks. None. Text. Text height. 1/8. Fit. Now these things can be whatever you want them to be, but if you're in my classroom, they're going to be like this. Fit. Always keep text between the extension lines. Primary units. Fractional and not stacked. And hit OK. So the only thing I want to draw your attention to, I don't really want to do these in this video. I want you guys to do these on your own. This is offset 3/8, 3/8. Off of here, 3/8, 1/4. Off of here, 3/8. Actually, you know what? This one is supposed to be in line with these. I don't know how that one got moved, but that should be a QDIM right there at 3/8 off of the widest point of the drawing, which would be here, 3/8. Just don't forget to erase those lines later. 3/8, 1/4. You know, most of the stuff, 3/8, 3/8. These don't matter, just put them anywhere. That one doesn't matter, that one doesn't matter. Anything on the inside I don't really care about when it's like that, but these can be 3/8 and 3/8. I believe this one is 3/8, that one's 3/8. And then as far as this goes, that's just doing a, angular, and you're going to do 1. Now you notice that there's not a line here, but you can click this one. And it wants to know what piece of the pie do you want. There's 4 different options. And we go up like that. Okay, I don't care where that one is either. But the only other thing I want to point out is sometimes your arrows are going to cross over top each other. This is fine. I'm not worried about that. But in another situation, let's see. I think here and here, the text size sometimes does not fit. So what you're going to do is you're going to click that text, and that is not the way I wanted to do it. There's a little text box in there, which is not what I want you guys to do. So I'm not going to do it over here. I'm going to do it right here. Click on this, and then right click, go to properties, and what you can do is you can arrow down until you see text and text height. When you do it this way, it just changes it just on that one number that you have selected in order to make it fit. So let's just pretend this one wasn't fitting the right way. We can make this text height 1/8 of an inch. So that makes it a little bit smaller. Sorry, that was already 1/8. Let's do 1/16. Alright, so you can see how small it is. Now if it still didn't fit, you go to text rotation and you make that 90, and that would flip it sideways, and then most of the time that's going to make everything that we do at least fit in those areas. The last thing I want is for the text to be like out here trying to point that to that area, because it gets a little confusing. Okay, so don't do that. Other than that, I think that's it. I can't really think of anything else that I want to chat about. Don't forget to change the name of the drawing. Don't forget to change the date for when you print it. Save it. Always do a save as, call it whatever the drawing is. Fireplace. I see a lot of people that are saving things like, you know, AAAAA or 152732. Whatever that is, you're never going to be able to figure out what that drawing is later until you actually open it. All right? So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Later.